Hey, Bookish friends. Merry Christmas, or it will be in a week. This is coming a little late because we've had sickness and busyness and all the things that go with December. I am actually filming my wrap up in 2 parts this time because, well, there's 2 weeks left in the month and I've already finished these and 2 more books that I did on ebook. So, yeah. Sorry about my tripod. Let's go ahead and get started. I do have my reading journal that I can check. Make sure I get everything. I'm actually going to start with the one I just finished most recently because it's tiny and it's on the top of my stack. Read Off the Grid Christmas by Mary Ellen Porter. Typical love-inspired suspense book. We have a computer geek who gets into trouble with looking into these files of this company, and her brother's friend, who's a security expert, helps her stay off the grid. Like the cover. Enjoyed the book. Probably not going to keep it. I'll probably put it in a little free library. Then I finished Tales from the Perilous Realm by J.R.R. Tolkien. This particular edition has 5 of his short stories and his On Fairy Stories lecture in it. I tried to listen to this on audio, and the version that my library had 4 of the short stories, but The Adventures of Tom Bombadil in the audiobook was just the bit from The Fellowship of the Ring, versus this is a series of poems that are about Tom Bombadil or stories that he told. And I'll start at the beginning. We have, I don't know if it's Roverandom or Rove Random. Our main character is a dog. He upsets a wizard and gets shrunken down into a toy, and he goes on adventures, and he wants to eventually be a regular dog again. I quite enjoyed the story. I thought it was great. And then we have Farmer Giles of Ham. I had actually read this one before. This one was on the audiobook. I listened to it with my kids while decorating our Christmas tree, and the narrator is a dog and was barking and was making my dog bark, and it was just lovely and great. And then I already talked about The Adventures of Tom Bombadil. We listened to the one that was on the audiobook, and then I went to move my bookmark and I'm like, wait, this isn't the same. So then I read that part, and it did take quite a while for me to get through it, but I did. And we have Smith of Wootton Major. We listened to that one on audio as well, and I had actually previously read it because my husband had picked up a copy with Farmer Giles of Ham and Smith of Wootton Major at a library sale. So since I have both of those in this book, and I think those were 2 of my son's favorites from the audiobook, I went ahead and just gave him my copy that only has the 2. And then we have Leaf by Niggle. It was my first time reading or listening to it. We listened to that one as well. And it was just a lovely story. And then we listened to On Fairy Stories. I found the lecture on YouTube, and I'm going to go ahead and link the version that I listened to. The narrator did an excellent job, and we listened to that while putting together puzzles. So that was also quite fun. And the audiobook version that we listened to had a bit of a biography about Tolkien. I didn't listen to that, but my son did, and he quite enjoyed that. So I did check this off through reading it, listening to it, and finding the lecture on YouTube. And I don't know if I should count it twice or not. But this was one of my 25 to read in 2025 books, and I'm glad I finally got to it and read some of Tolkien's works that were not The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings. Also, speaking of audio, my sons had to read Lassie Come Home for their literature class for our homeschool co-op, and we sort of made it a bit of a ritual that we would... This was one I couldn't find an audiobook for, but I did find a librarian on YouTube who read aloud the story on her YouTube channel. I will link that below as well. So we would put on her whatever chapters we had to read for the week, and we would fold all the laundry that we fell behind on. And I had never actually read this book, and it was a great book about a dog trying to find her way home. Her owners originally sold her because they were poor and needed money for, you know, food. I did finally pick up the second book in the Patchwork Mysteries series. This one is Time to Share. I don't know why it took me so long to get to this book. I enjoyed the first one, and then I just kept putting off number 2. I think maybe I'm a little prejudiced against it because it's by Guideposts, but this book was excellent. There was faith content in it, and our main character, she's just a grandma who makes and restores quilts and stumbles upon these mysteries. There's no romance, so if you're wanting a mystery and not even necessarily a murder mystery, these are great. And you know, the main character, she had some self-reflection. She's like, you know, the uncertainty of having my daughter-in-law's business broken into and my friend's house broken into, this has made me on edge and snappy, and I need to pray to the Lord about my attitude. Like, this was great. Why did I put off? And I have the next 2 in this series. I don't know if they'll be as good because I think they're written by different authors, but yeah, it makes me want... I'm sad because I don't have the Christmas one. I think the Christmas one is number 5 maybe, and maybe if it takes me as long to get to the next 2, I'll be ready for number 5 by the time next Christmas rolls around. But yeah, these are excellent. If you're wanting low-key mystery, faith content, no romance, give these Patchwork Mysteries a try. Oh, I didn't actually say what this one was. Sorry. Sarah is our main character. Her son and daughter-in-law and twin granddaughters moved to her hometown to actually her parents' or grandparents' house, and they're restoring the house, and her daughter-in-law opens an antique store, and the store is broken into. It's part of a series of thefts, and these antiques have gone missing, and there's a mystery attached to them, not only just finding the antiques, but then how they're all connected and why the thief picked those particular antiques. And it was great. And okay, I'm starting to go in order now. I'm gonna take a peek. Sorry if you can hear my dog. He wants to be fed, and it is not time for him to be fed. Does anybody else's dog be like, it's supper time, and it's not supper time? Okay, no, I have one more. I picked up 2 tickets to the Christmas ball. I either picked this up or my mother picked it up for me sometime this summer because Shatona has raved about this book, and so it was inexpensive, so I got it and I picked it up, and it was lovely. We have these co-workers wind up in this bookshop on the same day, both looking for Christmas presents for not each other but other people they know, and they each end up with a ticket to this Christmas ball. It's very mysterious. It is a little bit of magic realism, and I think it works because it's Christmas, and it was lovely. Who's our guy? Cora's the girl. Simon. Simon has become the breadwinner for his family because his father has died. So he has mom and his great aunt and his grandpa, and then his sister is like 24 or 25 and she has Down syndrome, and he is the breadwinner for that family and taking care of all of them. His sister is lovely. And then we have Cora. She's kind of just going through the motions of Christmas. She's the only Christian in her family, and that has some difficult parts attached to it because her family is awful. And it was great for her to interact with Simon's sister. Why can I not remember his sister's name? I know it's toward the end. Sandy, his sister Sandy. Just interacting with them and meeting the rest of his family and kind of catching the Christmas spirit. And it was great. I gave it 5 stars. I've been very generous with my 5 stars this month. I am just in the mood. Like, Christmas book, it was lovely. 5 stars all around. And I did actually read another Christmas book, another one recommended by Shatona called Christmas Carol Society. As the title implies, there are some nods to A Christmas Carol, and I went into this book totally blind. I still loved it. If you want a little bit about what it's about, I can't remember. He loses a game of checkers to his cousin who lives with him, and his dad and his sisters and his adopted brother. And so he doesn't like to get out. And so his cousin pushes him to join this Christmas Carol Society. He thinks they're just going to talk about how great the book is. And then he starts getting assignments. And it not only focuses on the Scrooge in his life, but also how you can't make people change. You can be used by the Lord to open people's eyes to the need for change, but you can't make them change. And he ends up making a friend. And again, no romance. If you want a Christmas book with no romance, showing the need for a savior and lovely family interactions, check this one out. I double checked my cheat sheet and I was wrong. There were 3 ebooks I finished this month so far. Another Shatona recommendation was The Christmas Book Flood by Rosanna M. White. This is just a lovely Christmas novella. It takes place in Iceland with the first Jólaboka flood, which is the Christmas book flood. It's World War II. Paper is one of the few things not rationed, and so all of the publishers get together and put out this book catalog and encouraging people to get each other books for Christmas because they weren't expensive and paper wasn't rationed. So it was one of the few things you could get for everybody. We have... I'm so sorry. I've read so many books. I can't remember main characters' names. But the woman works... Her uncle is like the owner of the publishing company. She's the secretary, and then she's also in charge of the mail room. And they get overwhelmed with the amount of orders they get, and so the uncle like pulls in everybody. He's like put everything on the back burner that doesn't need to be done. And the male character, he is one of the editors, but he is also a children's book writer and illustrator. And the woman's niece ends up coming to her for the couple of weeks leading up to Christmas because her sister is on bed rest with pregnancy. She has lost several babies, and her husband had been injured, and he's a fisherman, and so they're like, we can barely take care of ourselves. We think our daughter would have more fun being with you. And again, it's a lovely story. It's a sweet romance. I mean, romance is not normally the genre I go to, but I can stomach it a bit better in Christmas books, and this one was very well done. Also showing how your perception of yourself can be off, and how you think your family views you can also be off, and how just having a couple of maybe uncomfortable conversations can totally clear that up. And again, lovely book. What was it? Oh yes, A Christmas Carol. Sadly, I did not read this awesome, engaging visual journey one that I picked up last year. We listened to this during our lunch times as kind of a treat, a motivation to get through the last 2 weeks of school before break. And I just borrowed an audiobook from my library because I was reading A Christmas Carol Society by Rebecca Jones, and so I'm like, you know what, maybe I want to listen to A Christmas Carol again with my kids, and it was great. Also, the one where Neil Gaiman read it for a library, I think it's on YouTube. If I can find it, I'll link that below too. It was also very well done. We just had a little bit of the Brits pronounce things differently than us. It wasn't the clerk, it was the Clark. But, you know, learned a little bit about the different ways the Brits say things, and my kids were asking to listen to it, so that was great. Someday I'll read this amazing pretty copy that I got. Let's see. Oh, I have a non-Christmas book. I do. I read Saints and Monsters by Ellen McGinty because I am trying to get through my 25 to read in 2025 list before the end of the year. I'm on my last one. This one was recommended by Chantel at Chantel Reads All Day. And our main character, she's a cerulean princess. She has a crooked spine. She has vivid blue hair and eyes. And her kingdom has an oath with the sea dragons. They protect her country and use their magic to, you know, enhance crops, provide healing, all those things. But a dragon has to give a part of one of their hearts, because they have 2 hearts, to the queen. And her sister becomes queen, is supposed to become queen, and then she is put under a sleeping curse on the night before the coronation. And so Mira is left deciding what to do for her country, because the last cerulean princess who tried to become queen was eaten by the dragons, so she doesn't want to face that. And very interesting what she does to avoid that. And sorry. Oh, okay. My kids, we were supposed to go see their cousins at Grandma and Grandpa's and have winter cousin time, and my youngest got a stomach bug, and Grandma and Grandpa got more than 6 inches of snow on the day I was supposed to go, so we didn't go. So I had set aside this lovely puzzle that I got on Black Friday deal. I had set it aside. We were going to take it with us, but so we spent the day we were supposed to travel when 2 of my kids did not feel well, putting together this puzzle, like I said. And while we were doing that, we listened to a little bit of On Fairy Stories. We may have finished A Christmas Carol that day, but we listened to Letters from Father Christmas. My youngest child loves this book. She is very attached to the great polar bear. Father Christmas's polar bear assistant. And we normally don't do Santa, but this is not like pushing Santa. This is Santa as a fantasy thing, like anything else, like other fantasy things. And the illustrations in it are just lovely. If you want to, this makes a great Advent book because there's like 20 or 24 letters and it has cute illustrations. So I pulled this book out and we listened to it, and then anybody who wanted to follow along or just look through the illustrations, see if I can find another cute one, could do that. And we just had a lovely day putting together a puzzle and listening to audiobooks, and that was one of the ones we listened to. And what else do I have? Oh, yes. Detecting a theme for my books this month. I read The Trees of New Cheltenham by Shona Havig. This is one of the books in a series that she has read. I'm not sure you necessarily need to read any of the other ones before reading this one. You get a bit more of the, you get a lot of background for one of the side characters in this book if you read the other ones first. But this one has Daniel is our protagonist. Again, he has taken on the responsibility of his family because his father died, and they ended up using most of his insurance policy to pay his medical bills. And he has his mother and 6 siblings, although one of them is married and out of the house. But still, there's five of his siblings, and so he quit school and got a job, and they're having a hard time making ends meet. They're waiting for this inheritance, and so he ends up working at one of the shops in New Cheltenham for Mickey, and it's Dickens and More Co. So it's 4 months out of the year, it's a Christmas shop with Victorian literature upstairs, and then it kind of reverses for the rest of the year. And so Daniel is helping Mickey get her shop set up for opening, and then providing weekend help as she opens. And then his younger sister, who is 17, ends up helping out too. And it was great. I love the Murray family. They all have red hair, and they homeschool. Since I homeschool and I have a redhead, it just, you know, hits a little close to home. And I really enjoyed it. This was like her book from last year, so now I can read this year's book, which I do have. I'm looking forward to that too. And yeah, like I said, if you want to try one of Shatona's books, I don't think you have to read the other ones in the series to read this one. You do appreciate some of the things going on in the background and with a couple of the side characters if you have read the other ones, but you don't need to in order to understand what's going on. And is that? No. I'm wrong again. I have yet another ebook. I read The Adventure of the Christmas Pudding by Agatha Christie. This is a Poirot short story, but it's 50 or 60 pages long. So very long for one of her short stories. And I had actually read this one before, which I realized a few pages in, but I'm like, it's so short. I'll just read it anyway. And Poirot is approached by these people seeing if he can help recover this stolen ruby that is really important to this prince without causing a scandal. And in order to do that, he ends up at this country estate for the Christmas season. And the lady of the house, I loved her in this book, and it was great. If you want a Christmas mystery, try this one out. It's short. I loved it. So yes, I have all of these in the first half of December. I've slowed way down, so my second wrap up will probably be much shorter. I did decide to participate in the Tinsel and Tales readathon, and I've finished 4 out of the 9 prompts. Well, there's a free space, so I'm probably just gonna count any Christmas book that I read that doesn't fit, or I might just count the Adventure of the Christmas Pudding for that one. So a book with Christmas in the title, I counted The Christmas Book Flood, A Book on Your TBR Since Last Christmas, Christmas Carol Society. That one's actually been on there for probably 2 years. A book with a festive cover. I chose Letters from Father Christmas. It's blue and gold, and we've got red and green, and we've got Father Christmas and a polar bear and packages all falling down the stairs. And then again on the back we have Father Christmas and the North Pole. So I think that counts as festive. A book with snow in the title or on the cover. I counted 2 tickets to the Christmas ball because there's snow down here, and then the back has snowflakes all over it. And I do believe it is snowing on the night of the ball. Christmas mystery book. I might count, no, you know what? I should count The Adventure of the Christmas Pudding for that one. I have read a Christmas book with a movie adaptation, but we haven't watched the movie yet. I want to get my hands on the Muppet Christmas Carol. I watch it with my kids, and then I can count A Christmas Carol. And I still need to read the Nativity Story. And I'm currently reading a book with a holiday romance. So then I might count The Trees of New Cheltenham as your feast base. I like how my December pages turned out. They're so sparkly. But if you're not going to use your sparkle washi tape at Christmas time, when are you going to use it? And that is it for the first half of December. It's a lot. Like I said, I read all of these, or finished all these. A few of these I started in November, but I finished all these in December, plus 4 ebooks. So yeah, if you have a Christmas book to recommend this month, let me know. I might still have time to squeeze it in, but I have a lot of Christmas books I haven't gotten to yet. But yeah, until next time, happy reading.